Alright, so we're gonna do curvature and straight volume rollers. I already have my mannequin conditioned. I'm gonna wet her down. She got a little dry. And since I shampooed and conditioned the mannequin, I'm gonna use detangler. Not only does it help you get through, making sure this is detangler, but it also puts vitamins and nutrients right back into the hair. Wide tooth comb, take that, comb it through. Alright, so for the rollers, as you all know, the rollers are magnetic rollers. It sticks to the hair as long as the hair is wet. But if you want to keep the form, you're going to have to add product to the hair. So generally, if you have a client, what you're going to use is you're going to use mousse, you're going to use, depending on the hair type, you might use glaze. Right now I'm going to use glaze. So we're going to put glaze on the hair. And generally a lot of the times is you want to add more glaze. You do not need as much glaze as you possibly think. So what's going to happen is that you're going to use glaze. If you feel like the hair is dry, you are going to go and you're just going to wet down the hair. And by wetting down the hair, what does it do? Reactivates the glaze, right? Alright, so we're going to take this. We're going to use a rat tail comb. You want to make sure all of your supplies are already there for you and you're not running back to the dispensary, coming back, running back, all that stuff, okay? I'm going to start in the front, but I'm also going to section down. This looks really funny for a comb. Okay, we should be good. I'm just going to use this one. It looks kind of funny. It looks thin. Okay, but we'll be alright. Thank you. That's a lot better. Alright, so what you're going to do is you're going to take your roller. I can't see it. I'm going to move real quick. You're going to use your roller to measure your section of hair. A lot of the times you, at your station, thank you Taylor, you are going to have a mirror in front of you so that you can determine where the middle of her hair is. Okay, I also like to part my mannequin off prior to, or my client off prior to applying, but I am going to part as I apply. Alright, so even though you're taking the width of your roller, you're going to take the diameter of your roller so that you know how big of a section to take. You want to make sure your partings are always straight and your tools are always ready, alright? So I'm taking this up. We're going to take this up at a 90. All of our sections are going to be at a 90, being that this is for volume. Realize how my tension is and how the hair automatically sticks to the rollers. I am making sure my tension is the same as I take it down. Now, I'm left-handed. Majority of you are right-handed. Taylor, are you right-handed? Okay, I thought you were left-handed. Okay, so I'm going to take mine on the left side, clip it, push it in. You're always going to make sure that the flat side is against your client. Usually it's a big mistake if somebody has the part that's sticking up, because think about it logically, your client's going to sit underneath the dryer, and by them sitting underneath the dryer, that's going to burn, if not hurt them. Alright, same thing, we're going to bring it up, making sure your tension's even. Take it straight up, your tension's going to be the same throughout. Go ahead and roll that down. Keep in mind, a lot of the times, everybody, you want to put your tools down, pick it up, put it down. You want to make sure that your tools stay in your hand, only because it also saves time, but a lot of the times you're going to have tools in your hands. When you're using a thermal iron, you're going to make sure to hold your, you're going to want to use a comb, so therefore you're going to have to keep it in your hand. When you guys do curling iron sets, a lot of the times you want to put your your comb down, and what happens is then you roll it and then you're touching it with your finger. The whole thing is you do not want to burn your client, and you also want to look professional, but use your comb so that prevents from you hurting yourself as well as your client, okay? Same thing, we're rolling it down. I lost some hair. We're going to take it again. When that happens, you want to make sure that you still comb, alright? Roller's going to go underneath. If I put the roller on top, that would have been for indentation, and then indentation is always at a low 45 versus a 90 or a high 45. My clip is gonna be flat to my head. I'm gonna do one more. Take my roller, use the diameter of the roller to measure. We're going up at a 90. Roll that, oh, that was messy. The reason why you want your tension to be even is so that you do not, that for one, when you put them under the dryer, all of the hair is connected to the roller. Otherwise, what's gonna happen is you're gonna have bubbles and the hair is gonna look differently. And see right here, if I just pull that a little bit tighter, I gotta reclip those. Generally what I would do is I would take this whole thing out and do it again, but by having my clip, okay, making sure, having my clip underneath, therefore, directly underneath is gonna hold it. Your tension's gonna be even, okay? So sometimes you have to reposition those, all right? So now that I did my 4 on top. So 4, we're doing volume, so that's gonna be, I'm going to section for my side. I'm gonna take it. This is also curved volume as well. So I'm gonna create like a C shape on side. Okay, you guys see that?
Mm-hmm.
All right. With the hair being wet, you know, if you comb it in a direction, you should be able to see your part. All right, so this is similar to the inner outer, but it's not inner outer because it's not going in the same direction. All right, I'm going to take and part that only because I'm going to have 2 rollers sit right there coming forward. All right, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. Okay, so within this section, I'm going to have 4 rollers. I'm going to take them at an angle. I'm still going to, that's too big of an angle. Take that a little bit less. For these, it's harder to measure, but if you look at it, my diameter of my roller can still fit inside of that section, okay? So I'm still gonna take everything up at a 90. The only time you're gonna change your projection is when you get to the back, all right? So I'm gonna take this, we're gonna pull this up, roll this down, keeping your tool in your hand at all times. Mine's gonna be clipped to the left because I'm left-handed. All right. Did I say 5?
You said 4.
Okay, I'm making sure I said 4. This is gonna be 4. Yeah, we're gonna do 4 on the side. This is gonna be pulled up as a 90. Be careful, because when you get closer to another roller, you kind of get scared and you don't want to pull everything up and your tension's not even, okay? So I just had to go in and make sure the middle hair was pulled up 90 as well. I'll roll that down. And you always want to make sure that your sections are as wide as your roller and not wider than your roller, only because of the fact that you do not want the hair to come off the roller or just kind of be mid-air, all right? So this is gonna be 90. When I pull out 90 here, it's not gonna be straight up because I'm at a different angle and pulling on the head, okay?
You want it parallel from your part.
Exactly. Right there, I probably should have used a smaller roller, only because I might run into myself. Actually, no, I won't. I lied. All right. Same with right here. I'm pulling that out at a 90. Making sure the hair sticks to the roller because this is a magnetic roller. The only issue I usually have is because I'm left-handed and I have to pin mine on the left side. When I go to do these, I'm gonna feel like I am gonna pull out those, but what you have to do is be careful. This is not something that you wanna rush. You have to realize that when you are doing hair, this is your stamp, your name is on it. Like I told you before, realize that everybody is your model. When they walk out and they're gonna be like, oh, such and such in my hair. You want that to be a positive, positively said versus negatively.
Mhm.
All right, so for the front section, I'm gonna go and I took a vertical parting, okay, and I just split that into two. So I'm gonna take this, everything's still gonna be at 90. And a lot of people say, well, why are we learning this? We're never gonna use it. Yes, you are. You never know what your path is gonna be. What's it called? Beauty pageants. They still use rollers. Theirs are actually Velcro rollers versus magnetic rollers. If you do a permanent, a lot of the time you're gonna be like, well, I'm not ever gonna do a perm anyways. Yes, you are. Those are gonna be your most loyal clients. Miss Betty's gonna come back every third month when her money's right, when somebody's able to bring her hair fell, she needs her volume still, she still needs to look good. Okay, so I just did the left side. So what I did to the left side, I'm obviously gonna do to the right side, okay? I'm gonna take it this way. Okay, so we're gonna take this. Generally, you cannot just flip your client around, all right? I'm gonna take this, curve that slightly. All of this is gonna be in the back. Now, when it comes to the back, I'm gonna make 3 rows, okay? This is gonna be bigger in diameter versus width, okay? So when it's just gonna be a bigger section, so you're just gonna bring that all up, all right? Oh, so generally you can't just flip your client around. You're gonna actually move yourself. I have a cart here, so what I actually should have done was move myself to the other side. But for the sake, we are just going to do it to it. All right. So this is my section. Then I'm gonna do 2 rollers in, okay? That's gonna be 2. So we're still gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna have a diagonal parting. Actually, I'm gonna clip that so I don't run into myself. Because otherwise, know me, I will. All right, there we go. Okay, so I'm doing a diagonal forward parting. Making sure my part is big enough that my roller can fit in. I'm gonna take a little bit more there. All right, everything from here is obviously a lot better and more precise to use a comb rather than for me to just go with my fingers and just be like, oh yeah, that looks about right. No, you're gonna use your comb, okay? It's a rat tail for a reason. You can use the rat tail part. It's easier to make your section in part. My tension's gonna be even. I'm up at a 90-degree angle. I'm taking my roller in. I just lost my tension. We're gonna try that again. Okay. 90 degrees. My tension's even. I'm gonna go ahead, pull that through, making sure that the hair is sticking to the roller. Oh, no. Okay, so that didn't work. I'm going to take a little off because I'm pretty sure the diameter, yeah, it was definitely more than what I needed to be rolling in the first place. All right, so that's a lot better. That should make it easily sit. Take this down. And right here is kind of what I wish I was right-handed, only because it'll be on the outside versus being on the inside, which would have probably been a lot easier. Okay, so then I switched my parting, so I have to go and fix that so that my partings are still straight and it's uniform, right? All right. So we did 4 to that side, so we're gonna do 4 to this side. If I do that, can that be 2? Yeah, actually, that worked out perfectly. That was a good catch. Okay, so I'm gonna take this up. We're still at 90 degrees. Yeah, I do. So I say, oh no, I'm running on rollers. I did count them out. All right. Roll this all the way down. make this section 2, bring this out to a 90. Now I really made sure that the hair was wet down. I don't like how that's gonna sit. I'm gonna kind of bring this up a little more so that it's more at a 90 rather than a low 45. I made sure that the hair was wet enough so that I won't have to add any water and that the hair does stick to the magnetic rollers. Alright,
If the hair wasn't wet enough, what would happen?
it wouldn't adhere to the roller whatsoever. I wish I could show you, but that would include a blow dryer to actually dry the hair. But no, it wouldn't do anything actually. It would honestly just be mid-air. You would see the hair sticking out and you see how my tension's even on that one. It wouldn't be like, you would just see like hair coming out of the roller, as well as when she would sit under the dryer, nothing would really happen. Like there would be no change whatsoever. Since this is a temporary change, you would temporarily change anything.
Okay.
It would just be like, oh, I just sat in the dryer 30 minutes and just did that. That's just like when you color your hair and you're going to a lighter color, but you already have color on your hair, and you put the color on and you sit, it doesn't do anything because you can't color and you're going to a lighter color, like, you know, you didn't lift. Same thing.
Oh, that makes sense.
You get what I'm saying? Okay. Okay. So kind of squeeze in because of my left-handedness. All right. Last one for the sides. Take it, wrap it around, make sure everything's on the roller. Go ahead and bring that all the way in. Now I'm holding this very tightly as I'm clipping it. Okay, and a lot of times what people want to do is they want to take this one, clip it to this one. You don't want to do that, okay? What it's doing is not only is it straining the hair because of the fact that it's pulling too tight maybe on this one and bringing that one up, you just want to leave it as is, because what you should have done is when you clipped it, your tension should still be even. Alright, so now we're in the back. The back is going to be sorta a brick lay. I'm going to do 2 right here. Checking with the diameter. Even though this is not the same length, this is actually shorter, I should be using a shorter roller. But I'm going to bring this out at a 90. I actually took a good mannequin because this mannequin has a lot of hair. Generally they're thinning in the middle, bald at the top. Okay, checking with my diameter, bringing this everything. I'm gonna end up actually having to do 4 rows back here because that's too much hair for my liking to put on 3 rows of rollers. Rolling that all the way. The other rollers are kind of gets tight back here, but you know what? Sometimes that happens and you kind of have to reposition yourselves, but they do have smaller rollers so that can fit. Alright, I'm going to raise this up a little bit because it's getting a little low. Hopefully this time it doesn't fall on me. Okay. Diameter. The width of my roller can actually fit 2 right here. So I'm going to take that and we're going to put 2, and I am going to make, generally what it tells you is to do 1, 2, and then make that 3. That's a lot, and that's really bringing it up, because in the back you're supposed to do a low 45, but we're going to bring everything out at a 90 to make sure that we create the volume. I'm really hoping that there is a brush in here so I can brush out the other one.
Like a synthetic brush?
Yeah,
They're
there
in the
should be
closet.
one. don't have your cord ready. But you know what, there might actually be one in here. Yep, I have one, Taylor.
At the bottom.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm gonna take this, bring this out at a 90. Thank you, Taylor. I appreciate your help, I really do. Alright, so we are using also double prong clips. It kind of brings a better hold. Sometimes, oh, I did bring enough. There's a difference between single prong and double prong. When you're using single prong, it's generally to hold a pin curl versus holding a roller. The difference is if you use a single prong clip to hold a roller. Have you ever tried to use a single prong clip to hold a roller?
Well, yeah, but.
It kind of fell out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not gonna hold because it's not a double. And by having the second prong there, it gives it the extra support that it needs in order for the roller to stay in place.
Now, if you have big stems on your rollers, can you use hairpins to hold them?
You mean like the holes?
Mm-hmm.
You can. The only problem with doing that is I always feel like it has to be readjusted.
Mm-hmm.
I've never actually tried to use the stems. Wow, this is really interesting haircut. I've never tried to actually use, you mean picks?
No, hairpins.
I mean, I guess you could.
Mm-hmm.
You can use anything, but would you?
I've never really done, but I've heard you
Oh.
can.
Yeah, I don't see why not. I'm just gonna do two back here. I've never heard of anybody using hairpins. But how would you use a hairpin? Like, where would it come in and out?
Because one side goes in the hole and the other one holds the roller.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. You could. Okay, so you see how when I was in the back, I started from right to left? If I started from left to right, I honestly would have ran into myself because I am left-handed. So if you're a right hand, you want to make sure you start on the opposite side so that you don't run into yourself and cause a problem.
Oh, that makes more sense.
You've never done that?
No.
Alright, so this is what it's going to look like at the end, okay? Sometimes you have to maybe readjust. Like I would take this one out and I would re-roll those two. This one I would just readjust my pin, but it doesn't look bad. Alright, we're going to do my but not the oven trick. Like what I did there? Okay, so she sat under the dryer. Actually, I put her under the dryer for a little bit extra longer so I can make sure that it's dry. But generally what you would do is you would sit in the dryer starting for 30 minutes, going in and checking, giving it an additional time versus having it just be like, oh yeah, just underneath for an hour, you'll be alright. You know what I mean? You want to make sure you check on your client. You want to make sure that the pins are not burning. Sometimes what happens is like, say that I put this pin on this side, you know what I mean? This is on her scalp, this is right and on her face. So that would have honestly burnt her. Yeah, right here, there's one. If this was a real client, she would have honestly felt it, but I accidentally dropped this one too. When I was trying to put it under the dryer. Okay, so now I'm going to take the rollers out. I always start at the bottom. Being that I pinned them all on the left side, I have to go from my left and work towards my right. Right now, we're just going to take them out. And you see by the way I'm taking them out that I'm just pulling them out. I'm not relaxing them right now. This one I think I used two pins to make sure that it stays. You want to make sure that you do not pull the hair. And I'm just sticking my finger in the middle, taking the roller out, letting it curl right back up to how it was set with the roller. You see how it gets stuck in there? You want to be careful not to hurt your client, all right? Generally, a lot of the times your roller sets are going to be the little old women who come in for their weekly set. This set needs to last them for the rest of the week because they might have trouble washing their hair and they can't get themselves or doing their hair because of their age and lifting up. So we have to make sure that this style lasts. A lot of times I refer to Miss Betty. Did I do that to your class?
Mm-hmm.
I did? Okay, so this is Miss Betty, all right? So Miss Betty has to have her style set for a good, let's go with 7 to 10 days, okay? She usually is gonna be 7. She has her standing appointment, which is gonna be every Friday, which the standing appointment means she comes back. She's religious about getting her hair done. She has to make sure that she comes in every Saturday morning at 10 o'clock in the morning to make sure that she's good for Sunday and the rest of the week, okay? So, a lot of the times what you do first is you see how there's a lot of splits and everything, all right? So I'm going to take a little bit of oil to relax it. You see I'm not using that much. I didn't even use a whole pump, okay? So I'm gonna take it, go in, relax it. I know this looks crazy, doesn't it? But I'm not using so much oil that it weighs it down too much.
Or it looks greasy.
Right. Exactly. A lot of times people use oil and it's just kind of like, oh, you just got your hair done, but now it looks like, oh, do you want to try it again? You know what I mean? So we're just going to use bare minimum, okay? So with using the glaze kind of makes the hair crunchy, or it kind of makes it stale in the sense. So now we are going to heat over glaze. I don't think you can necessarily over glaze, but sometimes this is like when you're using it, and then if you know you can feel like you're using too much when your hands are more slick than anything. All right, so now what we have to do is we have to back comb. All right, a lot of the times, you know, somebody's just like, well, I don't want the back comb, it creates a rat's nest, it's too much. You have to make sure that you do it so that it's just enough. That is killing me right now. Is that put in here? We're gonna use this itty bitty one.
Yeah. Here.
Oh, here. That's a lot better. I feel like I won't break this one. Okay, so I'm gonna start in the front with my back comb. What we're gonna do is we're gonna back comb starting at the front. I gave my mannequin no part. So she wants everything off of her face, and right here is supposed to curve under and go forward, okay? So I'm gonna start at the front. I'm gonna take probably like a 1/2 inch of a parting, comb it through still, and then let me make sure my partings are straight, even though I'm about to create this. Okay, so I'm gonna go in, and I'm just gonna go in and gently back comb. By back combing, I am creating my cushion, all right? So creating this cushion so that Miss Betty does not have to worry about doing her hair for the rest of the week. I'm gonna go straight back. I'm gonna go just as I did for my sectionings, okay? I'm gonna take this section, 1/2 inch, go in and back comb. Notice the way I'm back combing, okay? I'm pressing down. We're not pressing up, we're pressing down, all right? Making sure the cushion stays. Now, after you get 2 sections done, what you're gonna do is you're gonna take those 2 sections, did I take that? And you're gonna interlock. And what happens a lot of times is people do they back comb, but they don't realize by not interlocking, it's not helping the parts. And you know what I mean? To hide the parts and everything. So again, we're gonna take a 1/2 inch of a section, go in, this mannequin is actually a little thinner, back comb that, and then we're gonna go in, interlock it. All right, I'm gonna take all of everything. Everything's gonna make it look like a little troll right now. Go in, interlock this. A lot of the times when you guys get on the floor and you have the women who get roller sets, honestly, I don't think I've ever seen anybody back comb enough because they think that it's gonna last longer if they just like take it and piece it out and it's just like, okay, you're done. Like that's not creating something. Even though the person is coming back, you wanna make sure, like I said, your name is on this. Make sure that they love what you did, all right? So 1/2 inch partings, did I interlock that? I did, okay, thank you. A lot of the times what you're gonna do is you're going to take a section from what you had did for one roller and for another roller. So therefore when you're back combing or back brushing, you are also getting rid of that part. But by interlocking it, it honestly doesn't make a difference. So I'm gonna work my way back. Everything is coming straight up. Make sure that everything is smooth still. I have a habit sometimes to just go straight down, but we were part of that time where Snooki was a big thing and everybody wanted big hair. You know, you couldn't get it taken out. You couldn't take it out by yourself. You had to put like conditioner in your hair for like a good day or two to make sure that you're getting all of that out rather than taking your hair out. That was awesome. That was actually one of the best years. Okay. Back combing, taking it up. We're gonna interlock this because Miss Betty is busy. She is going to make sure that she doesn't have to do anything besides put her bonnet on, go to bed, get up in the morning, maybe work on the ends a little bit, because as you see, I don't like going all the way down, or all the way up I should say, all the way to the ends, because I feel like what you're doing is creating the cushion. You do not want to take the curl out, but this is still also helping when it comes to the volume. So what I'm doing is I'm working my way around, being that I put product in it, it's going to stay in the form. Her curl is not going away. I am just increasing the volume on top. Interlock that. Also, when you're doing this, you're not like pulling her hair so much that's like you see her facial expressions change at all. Or they're like you're lifting them out their seat by their hair. No, you just want to make sure that you have good enough tension that you're able to get the comb in there and you're still holding the comb as you go ahead and back comb. Bring it all together. Do I have it all? I do. Interlock. I'm going to take this piece up front. Go ahead and interlock. I know I just said that usually if I'm left-handed, I'm going from right to left, but being that I'm bringing everything up, there's no way that I can honestly run into myself. So I'm going to take this front piece, make sure I get all the nooks and crannies out of that, the knots, back comb, interlock, and we're taking it all up. And it's funny, a lot of people are just like, why would you do all of that back combing if you just did for volume? Yes, you brought it up, but doing a roller set, regardless of how you did your roller set, is still going to create the parts. It's still going to create the splits. Okay, so I'm going to take that, bring that together, interlocking it. Everything at this point is going to be a high 45. You're not going to bring it out at a 90. I'm just going to bring everything at a high 45 because afterwards I'm still going to be able to, ooh, I lifted it up too much. You see that was way too much tension on her head. Alright, take it all around. I'm at high 45.